After working as a nurse for a number of years and priding myself on my composure when dealing with patients and their families around the event of death, I remember going to work on an ordinary day and meeting a young mother whose stillborn baby I soon delivered. Without warning, that relatively routine experience seemed to pull together all the grief that I had witnessed before, even experiences forgotten, and culminated them into a journey of discovery. Through this journey, I have learned that the ebbs and flows of grief are unpredictable and often inappropriate. I have learned that death does not have the final word. I have learned that God is the best person to confide in and the best person to make meaning out of apparent hopelessness, and He is kind. I have learned to empathize with others.
My story goes back several decades to Manguzi Methodist Hospital. The scene is the casualty theatre of the hospital. On the trolley is a toddler who'd been knocked down by a car. Her surname sounded familiar, but that faded into the background as I started the resuscitation. As we work, the fuller picture emerges. The accident actually happened at home when the grandfather was reversing his car. The situation got more desperate for me when I realized that the child was the grandchild of Thelma, one of the supervisors in our hospital. My efforts became more intense. My prayer for a miracle more desperate. The miracle never happened. The child died there in the theatre on the table. In an instant, the family became my patient. What I recall now is wishing that I'd learned to speak Zulu more fluently so that I could convey more meaningfully my compassion for their loss. In reality, I had to say, "I'm sorry, but I can't speak the language of your heart." For that, I had to call in a colleague who could and did, thereby serving them in a way that I wanted to, but didn't.
I am a midwife, and I worked in a hospital in Uganda. A mother had just given birth when she started bleeding. We gave her the routine treatment, but it did not help. She became paler and paler, and did no longer respond to anybody. We saw that we were losing her, but it was almost as if nobody wanted to admit that. We kept on giving medication, blood and oxygen. It felt as if nobody wanted to stop to see the reality, even though we knew that she was already not with us anymore. Stopping the treatment felt like a crime. After a long time, the treating doctor finally called the team to a stop. I looked at the mother. She was gone. She had just given birth to new life. I could hear the baby cry, but she had gone, and there was nothing we could do about it.
She could have been our ward mascot. At 11 years old, she had severe life-limiting post-TB bronchiectasis. During my 3-month peds rotation, she was admitted in the ward for more times than she was discharged, with recurrent respiratory tract infections. Despite her small size, she was full of spunk. Towards the end of my rotation, she was admitted again, but we quickly realized that this time she might not bounce back. As the week continued, she became slowly worse, and by Friday, the consultant decided just to keep her comfortable and let her go. Despite all the measures to keep her as comfortable as possible, she was in obvious respiratory distress, her body laboring for every breath. I felt powerless. It was so hard to watch. Someone prayed with me on the Saturday, asking God to heal her, and I remember getting very angry. I felt that if God was going to heal her, He would have done it by now. My prayer was that He would take her and end her suffering. She would be so much better off on the other side. Gradually, she slipped further and further away, fighting until her last breath on Monday morning. I will never forget her.
There have been many times when a patient of mine has died despite doing the very best that I could. I've used all my skills and all my abilities and all my knowledge, and I still haven't been able to keep a person alive. And in these situations, it's not difficult to feel like I've failed, because death is seen as the ultimate failure in modern medicine. The very hard part is the next time you're in the same situation with a patient with the same condition, not to become hard or cynical, and to throw as much of yourself and your passion and your energy and your emotion at that problem without withdrawing.
In the final stage of our patients' lives, we as health professionals need to understand that dying is a normal process and not avoid or be afraid to answer difficult questions honestly and openly. We can counsel them, we can explain the dying process, and we can even tell them when we think the end is near. We can support and comfort, but prepare them for that final moment? I'm not so sure. The death of a loved one inevitably comes as a shock, no matter how protracted the illness might have been.
There are a lot of aspects about dying that I find difficult as a Christian doctor. For example, why don't we see miraculous healings on a daily basis in our dying patients? But there are two things I would like to highlight. Firstly, the decisions we are forced to make because of lack of facilities. And I really believe that may God forgive me for some of the decisions that I have made that have condemned people to die. Sometimes in the past it was because they were HIV positive and we couldn't treat them, and sometimes it was because they had a condition like diabetes and we couldn't offer them dialysis. And I hope one day if I confront these patients in heaven that they will forgive me. Secondly, it's the question that 9 times out of 10 at the bedside of a dying patient I'm too scared to ask. And that is, where is this person's soul going? I can't ask this question because more often than not the answer is going to break my heart and probably leave me racked with guilt that I've spent so much time and effort trying to save their body and so little time trying to save their soul.